Welcome to a new episode of Rich and Raw. Get ready for powerful insights and real strategies to elevate your wealth and impact fast. It's time to get Esther-sized. Let's go.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. We're on to Chapter 7 today, right, Megan?
Gratitude.
Yeah, which is perfect because we're in Mexico and feeling a lot of gratitude. But the main thing is to take your time when you're listening to this and to try to process it, which is why Megan and I are doing this together. So if you made it this far, you're doing great. We're happy you're here. And let's rock and roll.
Chapter 7, Gratitude, from The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. The Proven Mental Program to a Life of Wealth. Chapter 7, Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. This is true, and you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to the formless intelligence in a harmonious way.
All right, what the heck does that mean?
To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here and give you instructions which, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. I love how he equates harmonious with the mind of God.
Yes, and also there's homework, and I can see why Scott had us do homework. So, maybe we could get his permission to get his homework. Because I do think if you don't write down what you want, this is going to be even harder to follow what he's saying.
Well, even just to start out the mapping of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to start something, and then from there you start to identify and refine and embellish it and make it more specific. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude.
Wow, that's powerful. The whole what? The whole
process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with him by failing to make acknowledgement.
That's how I felt at breakfast, Megan.
Gratitude?
Yeah, it was emotional to feel like the depth of how good the Mexicans can cook, right? First of all. And the realness of the food, and then to experience the depth of that, it's emotional to feel that grateful, knowing that in that moment it's perfect. You don't need anything else.
The harmonious unity in it.
Cool.
It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one which never looks to him in thankful acknowledgement.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Sudden spin from material world into right smack dab in the middle of your own inner spin cycle, right?
Right. But I like how he puts it together, because I think a lot of times people can feel or have a lot or feel like they have a lot. And if it's not associated with spirit,
you need more to fill it.
Yeah, it's shallow. It's not, it's thinner.
You can't dive into it in the same way.
Yeah. And I also feel like you have a fear of losing it when it's that.
Yeah. Yep. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the Supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply is that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come.
Mm.
If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. The good things you already have had, the good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. The good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought.
Wow. So there we go again with that plane, right? He talks in several other books we've been studying, all talk about getting out of the competitive frequency or plane into
The
the
mindset.
competitive frequency, right?
Mhm.
And it's easy to fall down if you get triggered by fear or if you lose something or something bad happens. But in order to stay, the practice of gratitude actually keeps you in that. That's cool to know.
I love that. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come.
Say that again.
Gra-
Gratitude.
Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come. Like if in your fear, right? Like you get caught in an internal spiral and you never allow the outside world to interface with your own inner
Right.
cogniting. So if you can focus on the gratitude, that's what opens you up to the spirit and the abundance. And if
Love
you
that.
have a faith and the love that everything is there for you, how could you be ever want to compete against someone else?
No, you wouldn't because you are
You're
fully
in it.
access of the source of which it comes. I like that.
Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all, capital A. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited. And to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There
Fatal.
is a there is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. I'm thinking a lot about money and currency, the difference between having money and having currency, because currency is the flow. And if you're constantly exchanging with others, that to
Yeah.
me is more of a mindset of abundance.
Okay.
So instead of trying to look to how we can compete with others, which means to overpower them or to win when they lose, right? We all want to be winners. Nobody wants to be a loser in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
How can you hope for anything better when you're caught in that? And currency, there's a regularity and a frequency and abundance to currency that's not when your money's just sitting in a bank in a vault, sitting on it, or resources, right? When your resources are in circulation and you're exchanging with others, it's because there's a value with others of what you have, and you're contributing to the growing and the building it.
Mm-hmm. You made me
Gratitude.
think of something else too, that if I'm in the vibe of gratitude, right, I feel better about what I hope for. Because
Yeah.
if I hope and I'm in the other vibe, I'm actually feeling like selfish. Like I never correlated that my guilt or feeling bad about wanting stuff was because my base belief was that I would be taking from somebody else if I want something, right? And I think a lot of good intentioned, moral Christian people
Mhm.
have that confusion.
Mhm.
They think that it's selfish, right?
Mhm.
To want or to have a hope for something because at some level you feel like somebody else isn't going to get it instead of no, no, no. If you're coming from the creative, you're actually giving people permission to also be as connected to source as you desire to transform your wants into.
And you're not holding out waiting for someone else with more to come out and like give you what they have, because
Right.
you're in a place of abundance. You can see your own value and your own capacity to exchange with value for whatever it is that you
Right.
need.
Right. So wanting to work with somebody, competition with somebody, not against somebody, feels better. So now you want to work with people because, first of all, you're not projecting that they're going to take everything from you. And second of all, you're also not feeling like you need the person in order for you to achieve it. You just want to because it's an exchange and it's a win-win situation, right? So now I don't have to go get the rich man and the man doesn't have to go get the rich woman, right? You can actually choose to exchange with a person that has that same abundant feeling and then it's still win-win.
I love it because it's the personal and it's also the grand or international, right? Like if you're a poor country or a rich country, like
Oh,
it's
there
the
you go.
same metaphor. How does this relate to me personally, and observing the mindset of abundance, and how does that relate to the whole country exchange, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you trying to outman someone to get what you need from them? Well, that's a place of scarcity.
Yeah. Or if you're constantly questioning every move or nitpicking why they haven't called me or in a trade agreement, are they going to screw me? Right? It's a totally different vibe.
And the thing is if I come from a place of abundance, from that mindset, I'm not going to constantly project that they're going to exploit me.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'll be like, oh, well, not them. Find it
Yeah.
someplace else, right? It
Right. You
doesn't
just
cut
be
you off.
shocked, actually. Well, after a few times, I'm not shocked, but it's like,
Right.
right? But in hindsight, you're kind of glad that you weren't thinking to try to warn or insulate yourself from that problem by thinking it might happen.
Yeah.
In the long run, you're happy that you never projected that as a possibility because what does that mean about you? I mean,
Yeah.
so seriously, anybody that's listening, like if you've ever felt seriously betrayed, be proud of yourself that you actually weren't thinking that they would do that,
Mm.
right? Because you're in the full creative certain way kind of abundant mindset. In fact, it is kind of confusing when somebody does stuff like that because it's like, oh wow. And then you look back and you go, oh, okay. They didn't know that they could have that without getting it that way. Right? Sad, but we've all done it. We didn't know. Cool.
You don't know until you're in the experience of it yourself.
Yeah.
There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force.
Whoa, say that again. That's crazy.
The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you.
Wow.
Draw nigh unto God, and he will draw nigh unto you. That is a statement of psychological truth.
So what's nigh mean?
To draw close.
Okay.
And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will be always towards you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how he always seems to be saying, I thank thee, Father, that thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power. But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting you more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are.
Well,
You already touched on that.
yeah, I need you to say that again. It made me sleepy.
But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting you more blessings in the future.
Okay.
Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are.
Cannot long keep from dissatisfied thoughts. What do you think that means?
So if you're not grateful, you're gonna, the whole, Napoleon Hill would refer to as the voice of the devil. It's gonna be like niggling. You're gonna feel dissatisfied with the way things really are.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're not grateful for how they are, you're looking for how they're not enough.
Yes. So, brings up what I was talking about this morning too with Jimmy dying. It's such a cultural assumption that that's all bad. Instead of experiencing what's so incredibly grateful about the experience of allowing someone to pass, having the privilege of being present when somebody passes, how much of a gift it is that you experience their life when they're no longer there. Like thinking about it that way is countercultural. Weird, even.
Well, it's like when you have a picture, right? Like if you have a beautiful picture and you're always living in the beautiful picture, you're always living in the beautiful picture, and there's no way to discern that. But when there's a frame around the beautiful picture, it brings your attention to it. And I feel like that's the way with a lifetime. When
Yeah.
someone's dead and they've crossed over, you now have a frame over the entirety of their life in this world.
How incredible it was. Yeah.
And when they're always there, it just keeps going. You don't have
Yeah.
that bigger
Well, you're
context.
always looking for what it is that you're grateful next.
Yeah.
And you actually don't even have time to focus on what's past. In a sense, I think that's the gift.
It's like finishing the end of a really great book, and now you get to contemplate the whole arc of the storyline
And the
see
fact that you had the
insight.
experience and how awesome it was that you got to be in that experience,
It's cool how when we talk about it, like for me, it's all the artistic, creative metaphors that come up. It's not a robot. It's not a vault that wasn't filled.
Beautiful.
The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, you begin to lose ground. You fix attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, and the squalid and mean, and your mind takes the form of these things. Then you will transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and the common, the poor, the squalid, and mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance, and thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about.
Jeez.
The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best.
You become the conduit, basically, of that flow.
You become the form.
You become the form. Wow. That's pretty powerful.
Also, faith is born of gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon one's own mind produces faith, and every outgoing wave of grateful thanksgiving increases faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith. And without a living faith, you cannot get rich by the creative method, as we shall see in the following chapters. Coming, it's coming, get ready. It is necessary then to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Do not waste time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of plutocrats or trust magnates. Magnates.
Trust what?
Trust magnates. Like this was the railroad barons and the industrial titans, like the ones that control the whole industry.
Okay.
Their organization of the world has made your opportunity. All you get really comes to you because of them.
Ooh.
I mean, think about the internet, right? Like,
wow.
We like poo-poo Elon Musk and Bill Gates, but the life that we're living is a result of those efforts.
Of their constant being form. through living faith, which is born from gratitude. Faith
Do
is born of gratitude.
Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy and your opportunity would be greatly lessened.
Oh my God.
God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government, and he is going right on with his work. There is not the least doubt that he will do away with plutocrats, trust magnates, captains of industry, and politicians as soon as they can be spared. But in the meantime, behold, they are all very good. I'm reading this right with the whole Ukraine and the Trump Zelensky talks and like the whole context of the international. Are we on the precipice of World War III or are we not? And which one, if we want world peace or do we want World War III, which one will be most supported by the perspective he's advocating?
Right. I love how you think of what's going on in our current world as it relates to this. This was written in 18 something, right?
1910 or something. Turn of the century.
1910. Oh, just crazy.
1910.
1910. I should remember that. Okay. 1910, early 20th century. And it's not any different, which actually makes it even more profound to me, right? Because it's like the Bible. It's all there. It's like
Universal truth that everyone can see it wherever, whatever crossroads of time and place, because you're in a human body, this is relevant.
Truth doesn't need to be proven. It just lasts over time.
Remember that they are all helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you, and be grateful to them all. This will bring you into harmonious relations with the good in everything, and the good in everything will move toward you.
Wow, that's so beautiful. How can you not feel good after you read this? It's incredible. And I always feel better about how good I felt when I listened to it too, because like when you're super positive and have a lot of faith, people make fun of you. Like you are such a Pollyanna. Like super faithful people are criticized that they believe. You know?
Well, there's also the easy quota, right? Like if there's it's easy to assume that that's easier to just like everything's good, everything's great. But he keeps pointing out this is not an easy effort, right? Like you have to train your mind and your attention to focus on the plenitude and the wealth and the substance and the positivity. You have to train your mind because that discipline. Is not difficult, right? Right.
Totally. I that faith is born of gratitude just blew my mind. Faith. So the more faith you have, it's because you've been grateful. And the more grateful you are, the more faith you have. Right?
And the more grateful you are, the more bounty you're perceiving.
Yep. Yeah. And it trains your brain. Awesome. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Esther.
All right. See you next time, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Rich and Raw. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated.